Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 572. The title of today's lesson is the difference between apply, apply for, or apply to, or file for. Yes. Okay, somebody want a screenshot? Do it right now. Let's get right to it. All right, this is one where there is a little bit of crossover, but there's very clearly areas where you would just use one or the other. And even where there is crossover, sometimes there's a little bit of a difference in the feel of the meaning of the use. All right, so let's get right into it. If a person applies to or for something, so remember, you can't just apply. Nobody just applies a job. You either use to or for with it. He or she is making an official request. One usually applies to a place or organization, especially a private organization. Yeah, I say that because as we go through this, you realize that we tend to use file more when it's even more official, like usually the court or the government. And they apply for whatever they are requesting. Okay. The most common uses would be applying to a company for a job. So you apply to the company or to the organization, and you're applying for the job. You're applying for the position. Okay, good. Or a school or university for acceptance. So you apply to the school, you're applying for acceptance. Let's continue. When one applies for something, an answer is always expected. When you apply for something, an organization usually judges whether you are qualified. So when you're applying for it, there is a chance that they may not accept it. They may say no for this request. You could also apply to be registered to vote or for an appeal. Okay, the reason I mention this is because with registered to vote, that's the government, that's usually more official. But in this case, you still say apply. Why? Because there's a chance they could say no. When you apply to be registered, they have to check. Are you really a citizen? Do you really live in this area? Do you have the right to vote here? So you're applying to be registered, okay? Or for an appeal, or within a court, if you apply for the appeal, then the focus is on whether it's worthy of an appeal, because the lower court made a judgment. Maybe their judgment was fine. You have to put forward something that makes it questionable whether the appeal could be accepted. Let's continue. If you file or file for, so you could just have file by itself, or you could file for something. You are taking legal action, right? That's another thing. File often has something to do with legal action, where when you apply for the job or you apply for a school, that's not technically legal action. Or making an official complaint. Yeah, so file is more official and is mostly used for something involving the government, courts, or for official records. So even when it's a complaint, sometimes you just want it to be on the record. You could just file for something and you may or may not get a response, okay? If you file for something, you are expecting a response or more action. So this is the difference between just file and file for. So if you just file something, you may not hear anything back. But if you file for something, you are still expecting something back. So the preposition for suggests that. Let's continue. For example, if you owe money, you may just file your taxes and send a payment. If there is no problem, you won't get a response. So that's it. Then you don't hear from them until the next year. You do it over again. You're not waiting for anything. However, if you file for a tax return, it basically means you overpaid your taxes and you expect money back. So you're applying for a return. You want an answer, and you want, this money back that you overpaid. Let's continue. You may just file a complaint so that it is an official record. Again, so you could just file that. That's not file for. You're not expecting a reply. You're just putting it in so it's on the record. Police may file charges against someone. All right. Again, they don't need a response from somebody. They're making it an official record. Now, from there, it may go on. with a process, but when they file the charges, they're just making it an official record at that time. Okay, good. One may file a lawsuit, etc. So again, this is where we just say file, not file for. However, if one needs or expects a timely response, we may file for a divorce, bankruptcy, Chapter 11, an appeal. Again, all of these things also may be judged too. Okay, let's continue. Whether they are good enough. Okay. If you file an appeal, the focus is making it an official record. Okay. If you apply for an appeal, the focus is on whether it will be accepted or turned down. So here's crossover. You could use either apply or file in this situation, but the focus is different. Apply has the feeling that there is a chance they just might say no. They may not accept it. But when you file it, you're putting it on the record. You're making that official that you did this. You're taking the legal action of doing that. All right, let's continue. And I only have 4 examples because I explained most of it in this introduction here. So we could say she applied to that university for acceptance. All right, again, it's good because you get both 2 and 4 here. You apply to a university for acceptance. He applied for that position. So again, these are the most common uses of apply. They filed a class action lawsuit against that company. Yeah, so making an official record, it's a legal action, definitely. You would say file. Okay. They filed a complaint with the Consumer Affairs Department. Okay, good. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it was clear. Hope you got a better feel of when you may now use apply or when you may use file. Okay, thank you for your time. Bye-bye.